Impulse control. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're standing at, say, Walmart, right? You're behind the fatty that can't keep themselves from grabbing the Reese's peanut butter cup, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna grab some of that too. That's what we're talking about here. And that is, without a doubt, the Achilles heel of most dogs is their lack of impulse control. It's what gets all of them into trouble almost every single time. Kids playing soccer with a high prey drive dog walking by, loses his mind. The kid on the bike, or the skateboard rolling past, same high prey drive dog, loses his mind. There's a sandwich on the floor and the dog thinks he's starving to death, loses his mind, tries to go over and get it. Somebody coming through your front door, the doorbell or the knock association that the dog has, loses their mind, UPS guy, whatever. In every one of those situations, and any situation you can think of where your dog wants to go do something that you don't want them to do, that's the dog's inability to control its impulse. It's something that I focus on extraordinarily heavily, whether it's pet dogs, protection dogs, military working dogs, whatever it is that's what's going to get them into trouble, and in some instances get them killed if it's a military situation or even a pet situation where there's cars and a soccer ball goes across the street or a squirrel, what have you. Your ability to teach that dog to control its own impulses is key. And I'm gonna show how I do that in one instance, but how that's gonna transfer over and carry over into the higher drive situations that can potentially be dangerous. In this case, I'm going to use the same dog, Arrow, that's getting ready to be delivered, and I'm going to use a tennis ball or chuck it ball. He's got pretty high drive for a ball, so it's a challenge for him. And I want to walk you through kind of how I go about it. But I want to talk just briefly here before I show you that, because once I get out there and I'm trying to do it, I'm not going to be able to talk as much because I'm pretty focused on the training, and it's harder for me to relay the message. But the key concept is teaching the dog to control that impulse here where it's safe, where it's a relatively sterile environment. There's not a ton of other distractions going on. And so that gives the dog the ability to understand what you're trying to do. It's basically just waiting. And that's the reality of it. Whether it's going to the door, chasing a ball, chasing a kid, running across the kitchen to get a sandwich, every one of those instances really boils down to the dog just not waiting when you tell him to wait, right? And so that's the key concept. You have to teach that behavior first here, and by here I mean in a classroom in a relatively sterile environment where there's not so many things going on to where the dog can't focus on it, right? The key concept behind this is you're communicating to the dog that it's not that you don't get to go do that, it's that you have to wait until I say it. Now, when it comes to the real world application, you're going to redirect that to either food or a toy or something of that, even affection if the dog is that driven for affection. But that transformation is going to come after you teach the dog to wait. But it hinges on the dog's understanding that it's not that he doesn't get to do what he wants, it's that he has to wait until you say it's okay. One of the terms we use kind of in the working dog industry is the capping of drive, or drive capping. This is essentially what that is that you're just teaching the dog to cap that drive to want to go do something. And it's really, really simple, but it hinges again on that key concept. And the reason I've brought that up several times and will continue to do so is that's where most people make their mistakes, is that whether it's with a ball, I'm going to take the ball, you don't get the ball, you're done playing because you chased it, or you ran off and they get punished when they come back because you're pissed off and can't control your emotions. It really, really relies so heavily on the fact that you're just communicating to the dog, it's wait, okay, now you can go, right? And then from there, we can build on that, and then you're just building duration on how long you're making the dog or asking the dog to wait, and then you're reinforcing them waiting by letting them go do what they want. So I'm going to show you with Arrow and a tennis ball what I want you to keep in mind while you're watching. I'm not going to be saying a whole lot other than what I'm communicating to the dog. A lot of it is emotion on my part, and by that I mean it's bringing it down a little bit. It's not yelling and screaming. It's trying to diminish my energy so that it translates to the dog. He's wound up. I want to try to bring it down and think of like a pressure cooker. You're simmering it down a notch, if you will. Little Saturday Night Live, simmer down now. All right. So that's really the method, is that you have to think that in your mind and bring that dog's energy down a notch by doing it yourself. So just watch the techniques that I do. It's real simple stuff, but it starts with that. Once you get to that, you can build on the distractions, start kicking the ball, throwing the ball, what have you. And then go from there. But I'm going to head outside with Arrow now, Pay attention, try this at home with your own dog, with whatever it is that he's driven for, and teach him how to control that impulse. And that will help you out in a lot of other areas of the obedience and control work. All right? All right, so here we are. We're gonna start by doing some, just some door work in terms of impulse control, right? Live. Okay. And then out here, get into our ball chest. Chest full of balls. Who doesn't love a chest full of balls? So just with the doorway, right? It's not that I'm not letting him out. It's just, hey, you got to sit there and wait. As soon as I say okay, then that's when you get to go. With this, the impulse stuff here with the ball, off, live. I'm gonna start small, live, live. Okay. Just, I mean, really nice and calm. Quick repetition of, you know, hey, just wait there and you can have it. It starts with that, okay? A lot of times people try to push the envelope too much. They're, you know, down the dog, throw it, kick it, you know, trying to go to 12th grade or college, you know, right out of the gate. It starts really small, just teaching them to wait for a quick second, right? And we're gonna do it again. And we'll do this over and over, but again, it's teaching that just that basic short in little principle of wait for it. Okay, now you can have it. That's the building block. That's the foundation. You're not going to have a dog that you can, you know, put him in a down and throw the ball and kick 90 soccer balls in front of him and he lays there nice and still on the first try. You know, it starts with what you just saw there. So I'm not going to get too crazy with it because it's in succession from there. And if they can't do that, they for damn sure aren't going to be able to do it, you know, in a much more challenging environment. So start real small, aim small, miss small, right? Some team guy shit. Arrow, off, los, live, live. Just a couple little kicks. Okay. Good boy, son. Good boy. Good pup. Good boy. You know, play with them, have fun with them, engage with them. It's about them, right? It's not about me. It's not about anybody else. It's about the dog. And so a good way to communicate to the dog that what they did is right is not just letting them have it, but playing with them, you know, and letting them have it for a few seconds. A lot of times people, they get wrapped around the axle and they try to, you know, get a ton of repetitions in real quick. You know, that time will come early on. Let them have it, let them enjoy it. Have it be a huge disparity in terms of the time that they're enjoying it versus not. That makes it easier, you know, at first to communicate that you don't want to let them have it by having it just be brief little glimpses or periods where they don't have it. They get to have it most of the time. You can start to throttle it back more and more and raise your criteria and make it to where they have to wait longer and you know, harder, more challenging things where I'm throwing it right in front of their face or kicking it a bunch of times and running around and being super distracting. Again, that will come. Start with this, you know, and this ability to control that impulse that the dog has will translate to everything else, I promise. All right, so we'll get another repetition in here so you can see it, but you already get the gist of it. Arrow here. Good boy, son. Good boy, pup. Off. Los. Leave it. He likes to test you. Leave it. Again, my energy is nice and calm. Leave it, blithe. 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 Good blithe. Okay. Good boy, son. Good boy. That's it. We're going to keep it fairly short. I don't think you need to see that same thing 35 times in a row to get the picture. And you're just going to slowly stair step it, all right? You know, the little glimpses of the, you know, just, you know, again, it's a bit of a nuance in terms of how to do that where, you know, you're not just yelling at the dog and raising their energy up, but you're getting the point across to keep them from going after it, right? And that can take a little bit of finesse, if you will. It's kind of like the first time you took somebody's bra off, right? No, it's not. That's not what it is. The principle is very similar that way, right? Do that happy medium and just enough to get the point across, but not so much to where you're actually throwing their thermometer way through the fucking roof too. So I will do one more repetition here of just handing him the ball, basically doing the same thing, so you can see one more principle of that, and then we'll wrap it up. Arrow, here. Who's a good pup? Off. Off. Blijf. Leave it. I'm going to gently hand it to him and try not to lose my hand. Okay. Here. Good boy, son. Good boy. Off. Good boy. Los. Arrow. Los. Good boy, son. Good boy. Leave it. Good boy, son. Live. Okay. Good boy. There you have it. All right. It's not rocket surgery, as we used to say in the SEAL teams. It's just doing it over and over and over and over and over. Like every other thing in your life, if you want to be good at it, you got to do it over and over and over and over. And this is no different. So I encourage you to practice whatever it is that your dog is super driven for. Use that same principle, that same tactic, technique, whatever you want to call it, to build and condition in impulse control. Because whether it's the sandwich on the floor, the kid with the bike, the ball, whatever it is that's when they get themselves into trouble, when they just do whatever the fuck they want. And this is how you keep them from doing whatever the fuck they want, is teaching them not to do it. But also that hinges on the fact that they don't get to do it until you say they get to do it, because they want to do what they want to do. Just like with people, dogs can be selfish little pricks sometimes, and this is no exception. So that's how you go about it. I hope this was helpful, and sign up at teamdog.pet while you're bullshitting. All this stuff that I'm talking about, way more in depth there. I answer questions every Monday morning. This dude, he's doing it again. Not all the way in this time, at least. He knows. He's a smart bastard. I'm gonna miss him. But I get in the forums and answer questions. There's a ton of videos on there, over 800 minutes, almost 1,000 minutes at this point. And I've answered a ton of questions in the forums and continue to do so. So if you're having problems with your dogs, try these techniques, but go and sign up. It's $12.99 a month or $99 for a year, plus asking my dumbass questions every week. So I hope this was somewhat helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. I know that mother did. All right. Until next time, this is teamdog.pet.